Hi, welcome to Microservices Lab. In this lecture, we will see how GraphQL works in Java. So let us start. We will start with the left side first. The first step is to create a schema file. This schema file will contain the types and the operations that can be performed on these types. The schema parser class is provided by the GraphQL Java API. We create an object of schema parser class to parse the schema file. After parsing, we get an instance of type definition registry. This instance is an in-memory representation of this schema file. Let us now look at the right side. We also have to prepare the data fetchers. Each data fetcher is either associated with an operation or with a field. In order to represent this linking between the operation and the data fetcher or between the field and the data fetcher, we have to create an instance of type wiring. So each instance of type wiring represents a linking between the operation or the field with the data fetcher. So there can be more than one linking. So then there can be more than one instance of type wiring. We feed all the instances of the type wiring to the runtime wiring in order to create an instance of the runtime wiring class. Now we have two instances, one of the type definition registry and other is the runtime wiring instance. Now we combine them with the help of this schema generator class. The schema generator class combines the type definition register instance and the runtime wiring instance and creates an instance of the GraphQL schema. This GraphQL schema is further used to create an instance of GraphQL. This is the main class in the GraphQL Java API, which is used to handle the client's request. Let us look more. So this is the flow, the whole flow of the GraphQL application. So first, a client sends a request that contains either a query or a mutation. It does not interact directly with the GraphQL instance. Instead, it interacts with the controller first. In controller, there is always a method that passes the request body to the GraphQL instance. Further, this GraphQL instance will always execute the data fetcher if the operation mentioned in the request is a valid operation. Upon execution of the data fetcher, it either fetches the data from the database or it requests an API in order to get the data, and then the result is returned. Now at the controller side, the controller creates a response from this result and sends it back to the client. So in a controller, there is always a method that uses the GraphQL object to manage the request body. This method is usually mapped to the URI path GraphQL. For example, http://localhost:8080/GraphQL. Whenever a client sends a request to this URI path, then controller passes the request body to the GraphQL object. The GraphQL object performs the following steps: fetch the query from the request body, fetch the variables if provided from the request body, fetch the operation name if provided from the request body, execute the data fetcher associated with the query and return back the result. So this is what exactly the GraphQL object does. Now let us see this in code. So first step was to create the schema file. Here I have created a schema file that contains two types, author and books. And I have provided two operations, getBook and getBooks, that can be performed on these types. Now the next step was to create an instance of the schema parser class. After creating the instance, I will be using this instance to invoke the parse method, which is located in the schema parser class. I will provide the GraphQL schema file to this method, and this method will return an instance of type definition registry. Now we get the instance of type definition registry, which is an in-memory representation of this schema file. Now the next step was to create the data fetchers. I have created 3 data fetchers. 2 of them are here. So this data fetcher is mapped to a getBook operation, and this data fetcher is mapped to the getBooks operation. So both of these data fetchers are mapped to the operations, but I have provided one in order to map it with a field. So the getAuthor data fetcher is mapped to a field instead of the operation. Now let us look at the next step. So here, as mentioned earlier, in order to represent a linking between the operation and the data fetcher, or between the field and the data fetcher, we have to create an instance of type wiring. So here we have created 3 separate instances of type wiring. The first one is used to link the getBook operation, which is present in the schema file here, and then we are linking this operation with the getBook data fetcher. Same case with the getBooks operation. Here we are linking it with the getBooks data fetcher. As mentioned earlier, both of these operations are of type query, so we have used the query here. Now in order to map a field, we have to use the name of the field. So as we are creating a separate data fetcher for this field, the author field in the book type, so we have to use the name of the field. So we have used the name of the field here and mapped it to the getAuthor data fetcher. Now the author field is present in the book type, so we have to use the book type over here. Now by combining all these type wirings, we will create an instance of runtime wiring. And next step was to combine these 2 types, and we will use schema generator to combine both of these types. So I have created an instance of schema generated class, and I am invoking the make executable schema and passing the type definition registry and the runtime wiring instances, and in return this method provides us the GraphQL schema, an instance of the GraphQL schema class. Now I will use the instance of the GraphQL schema class to construct an object of type GraphQL. This object will help us to deal with the request later. So this is the whole process. Now let us take a look at the controller. So this is the controller class. Here I have created one method called execute, which uses the GraphQL object. I am invoking the execute async method on this object and passing the GraphQL request body, and this will return me the result basically. So this is how a controller works, or what is the role of controller in the whole flow. So basically we are creating a bean of type GraphQL over here and using this bean in the REST controller named as the GraphQL controller, and passing the request body to this to the method execute async, which is located in the GraphQL class. So this is the total flow, how the request goes to the controller and how the response is taken back from the controller. So I hope you will get something from this lecture. Please share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.